my father kept telling me that Vicksburg, he said the people swam the Mississippi River 3 times. So, I was just saying, yeah. He said, yeah, and you know what, the niggas with them bayonets, they was sticking white folks, you know, when you pitching hay, sticking them white folks, he said they was pitching them like hay. And you can imagine they was all strong because that's all they did was work. He said it was, and then I was coming from Louisiana, going into Mississippi, and you know where the river runs like an S in some places? So it said, Mississippi River, I drive a while on. Mississippi River. And then before I get to Vicksburg, it says Mississippi River again. And then it all came back. And then all the stuff that I have on tape, this stuff I wrote, I got on tape. And it was a whole group of them soldiers used to be around. The ones that survived this Vicksburg, because see, they also had to build rafts. In fact, you just watch television. You watch what they say about the Negro soldiers that was fighting with Grant. First of all, they're going to say that they lost 70% of it. But the ones that lived, they had a pension. They got a pension. And remember, I was telling, from reading my notes, I was telling my nephew, great nephew, I said, yeah, do you remember Aunt Dale? He said, yeah, I stayed with her for a long time. Remember this? She's born in 1898. He says, and I'm telling my niece right now, if you can go get in touch with our relatives in St. Louis, where Aunt Dale is from, and I forgot all about it, but my father said that my Aunt Dale had what he was saying, Grandpa's release papers from the Army and his bayonet, you know. So just think, how many Negroes they got their grandparents, great, right, release papers, because see, they got a pension. The ones that was in the Army and run off, they didn't get no pension. You know, but the ones that stayed and fought and they got released, they gave them a letter, and so they got a pension. So all the Negroes, when I went back in '57, I asked my grandmother, born in 1872, I said, Grandmama, was you a slave? Because that's what that movie was about. Excuse me for skipping. Clark Gable, 1957, Band the Angels. It was about black troops that fought with what part of it was. So I said, was you a slave? She said, no, but old man so-and-so was. You got to remember, in 1945, when I was born, everybody over 80 years old was born in slavery. Think about that. Everybody was what? No? 35 years, 1865, 1900, 1945, that's 80 years, right? Everybody over 80 years. So she said, no, I was born after slavery, but old Mr. So-and-so was born in slavery, but he was a little kid. So now old Miss So-and-so, she was born up in slavery. That means she was 10 or 15 years old. She was worked, you know what I mean? She knew what slavery, she worked in slavery because she was born up in slavery. I'm trying to tell you that everything I'm telling y'all about, this is the reason that you don't have to worry about me buckling or giving up or changing over to the other side. Because all of this stuff that we have information about, this is one of my older brothers. This is Johnny Bethia, the guy who was actually about, he carried a shotgun. But these people are talented, some of them. You know why? When I got my brother to join our organization, and he was over in a house, all of a sudden, the police raided the house. They don't raid no other houses. You know, even in all this stuff I did in Oakland, I'm the only one that ever went to jail. Ain't nobody, can you imagine? Nobody else ever went to jail except my brother, because they didn't want my brother to be close to me. And by the way, he's the one that rented the first Masjid on East 14th for us, and he died of cancer, and when he was in his 30s, or 40s, something. Why he died of cancer, I don't know. But I didn't like it. I didn't like the smell of it, because he was the one that was close to me. They didn't want me to have nobody close to me in Jahiliyyah, and they definitely didn't want nobody close to me in this move right here. So to me, it's all one big happy together. Okay, all right. Assalamu alaikum. This is a picture of my dear grandmother, not on my father's side. You can tell that she was a half-breed, you know, Indian. Well, this is what it looks like. All of my people on that side look like her. And that dress that they was wearing, half-breeds wore them kind of dresses back in the early 1900s. Anyway, the Civil War period, we were well represented in all of this period. And this is what I'm trying to tell my family. But now it's time for y'all to set all that aside. Number one, my nephew, don't punish yourself thinking you did something to hurt me. He didn't. So you don't have to punish yourself, because I knew they would come to him eventually. I just knew that. Number one, I think his father was an MP, a shore patrol. But he was, I think, an MP in the Army, and he worked for the Federal Bureau of Prisons out there, and so they're going to come to him. My niece was educated. My niece, in fact, took me to the courthouse when I was going to turn myself in 1973 in San Francisco, and they didn't have, it wasn't even open, and they didn't have a jail over on Golden Gate Avenue. So the guy at the door told me, no, we can't take you here. You can't imagine how hard it was to leave there go down to LA and to really turn yourself in. Because I didn't turn myself in until I had outgrown the love for America. So anyway, the next thing I'm gonna do it brief, and I don't want to keep y'all. So it'll be a little disjointed. Number one, we talked about 300 extra FBI, surplus FBI agents for Negroes, right? Okay. So if I was addressing gangs and other people, I would tell them that you're at the bottom of the barrel. I said that the USA have committed genocide on your parents and grandparents. Genocide in the movement. You know what it said in the COINTEL program, number 2 or number 1? To prevent unity. You know, if black nationalists unified, it could be a real Mau Mau, right, in America. That's what they said. So you got to remember, the federal government, the state government, the government of the United States of America has made black men, what we all know, persona non grata, and they blame everything on the Negro. Everything. Now here's what we're going to suggest, dear Negroes, and we're going to suggest the same thing to everybody else. For instance, all groups should evolve to a higher level of organization. Organizational structure, you could get them you could get military manuals in any surplus store. They're about 20 pages, 25 pages, just regular military structure. But that's what everybody should do, or could do. I wouldn't suggest you do it, but you could do that. Then all of your arguments with each other have in each city a citywide organization where you meet from time to time to iron out all citywide problems. In other words, especially in places like Chicago and even DC, is a new rule: no Negroes killing Negroes. None. Here's why. Now, I know that's going to be hard, but even if you get to be 65, 70, if you get 80%, you'll be doing good. That'll be good. You may make it to 100. No blacks fight each other, no blacks kill each other. And anytime anything developed out of territorial, bam, you discuss it, so that you will have a unified approach. The next thing is, whatever you're doing, you can improve your quality, you can improve your price, and you could improve the size of your packages on anything you do if you send scouts. You send simple scouts. If you got a cousin that goes to the University of California or Prince George or something, it don't make a difference. You have that person go, I'm not saying that you do this stuff, you go with a guy that speaks Spanish and you go and visit Mexico. See, when you get organized, you're organized. You're not by yourself, but you are organized now. And an organization have funds for certain things. So you want super quality, super price. Well, the only way you're going to get super quality, super price is your buying power. You buy organizationally instead of individually. And the more people you get in that buying pool, first it'll be a little hard, but after people see where you're rolling, you say, hey, I can cut y'all into this. Like, of course, you may cut them in at 50% of quality and all that, but it'll be 200% better than what they've been getting, right? You're just going to charge them a little bit for not getting in on the ground floor, which they deserve. If they got in on the ground floor, they get the same thing you do. But you just send down to Mexico. They're tourists. They go down and they're looking for people, and they got a platform. Well, we have a distribution network there. This is what we're trying to do. Can y'all help? Well, you're not going to just say to the people in the street, can y'all help? But you'll find people in certain places. Everybody got a cousin. If you go to Culiacan, somebody got a cousin or a mama or a brother that they do all of that. And they pipe you in. And if they can't handle the weight, they'll pipe you into, you have to be careful because some of those places now, the organizations are at war with the government and of Mexico. And they're not winning all the time, but they just about, the government has no, there are places in the world where, would you turn the coolers on gas again? But the government don't run things anymore, right? You go there, you send people there, you send scouts, they scout out everything, and they organize, you know, pretty soon you getting super quality, super price, and all that. Pretty soon, you don't have to argue with the police, you can buy the police. That's what everybody, that's what big folks do. You're gonna argue with the police, you're gonna buy them. If you organize, got quality, what you're doing, everything improves for everybody. Right now, you're getting what falls off the table because you don't have no contact on nothing. Everybody's telling you what to do. And when you get anything, it's already chopped all up. Even in those days, one thing I found out, if you wanted good weed, you didn't get it from no Negroes, you got it from white folks. If you wanted really kilos of weed, 2.2 pounds, big stacks like that, you had to get it from white boys, because Negroes would cut them in half and you'd be getting a pound. And they pour molasses or something in it to put weight on it. They'd be dripping all out of the thing. That's the way Negroes do. Start buying from white boys, it's the size of that thing. It's twice as big and half the price. Good God Almighty. You're gonna roll, I'm telling you. All right. So, try it. The other thing about the so-called OGs, original gangsters, they don't call everybody OG out here, but in California, AOG, that's the original gangsters, probably old goons. But become an original gangster, even if you're doing a lot of time in prison. In prison, prisons should be a place of relaxation and what have you. If you got everybody in prison fighting each other, that's stupid. What do you have in common with Latinos? The police is keeping us in prison, right? It ain't no nigga got you in the penitentiary. Well, unless he's a coon, but that's the one thing I want to say. Now, they have the system so saturated with Negroes, you can't get no sympathy from Negroes. Guards, police, nothing. All the people, so we're going to get in the system and do what? We're going to change the system from the inside. That is bull crap. They got the Negro lady, Indian Negro lady from Oakland talking about, she was part of the Civil Rights Movement, you know, her mama and them. Now, I ain't never heard of her mama and them, but that's what we did in Oakland. I ain't seen their mama, I ain't heard their mama, I don't know no mama. And that woman, if your kid didn't show up at school, she had a rule, State Attorney General Court, to put your behind in the penitentiary. Because your kid didn't come out. Who's going to tell their kid in high school, you got to be in school, you got to walk and hold their hand? They're going where they want, right? She had a rule to put, did you know, to put the niggas and the parents. If your kid don't go to school, and now she sitting up there running, I'm just as civil rights as I can be. I just love everybody. As long as you trust them niggas, you'll be sad, you'll be broke, and you'll be stupid. Right? We didn't have 50 or 60 years to change the system from the inside, and it haven't happened. No system, nowhere, in no time. The system changed everybody all the time, anytime. It ain't nobody in the system. It ain't no judge, the Negro judge, he gonna give you the same time as the white judge, maybe more. But what judge don't know that he's working in a criminal system? Unless he's stupid, unless she's stupid. And girls, the same thing. We would need more women to fix. Well, hell, you got 500,000 women already in the government, and they still, we want to go to war, we're going to get those Chinamen, right? The same old dumb line. They're the communist Chinese, the red Chinese, might as well call them red Chinamen. They don't technically, but the Chinese Communist Party. The women, the system ain't going to let you change it, it's going to change you. You could be a girl, a boy, in between, it don't make no difference. Right? This is what I'm telling y'all. Young Negroes, same thing with Mexicans and everybody else. Your house is a prison house. You have to make it comfortable in that penitentiary. Yes? How you gonna be comfortable? By getting along with everybody in there. Same thing like Negroes have a consul out here, you have a consul in there. It's kind of like we used to, but it has to be developed. That means don't no Negroes kill no white boy, unless they get cushy, don't kill nobody. Let me reframe that. Anyway, when they have consuls in prison, everything is sanctioned, right? If somebody want to do something to somebody, they go say, well, that's a white boy, and we want to do something to him. And the white boy said, well, we'll take care of it. They take care of it. Maybe give him a box of cigarettes, go say, don't even have cigarettes in the pen. I don't know how all them niggas in the penitentiary, because everybody in the pen smoke. I don't know, they probably nervous and paranoid and everything. Anyway, the prison house has to be comfortable. You can't be comfortable in there if y'all got all them gang tattoos. The police know who you are because you got a damn thing that say gang number 1. Then this dummy have gang number 2. And guess what? You have Mexican Mafia, La Familia, M&Ms they used to call them, and y'all killing each other. The dumbest thing is for a nigga to kill another nigga for no reason, and a Mexican to kill another Mexican. Do you know that Mexicans